Coming up on today's weekly roundup, we recap everything from the June 4th show in Foxborough, including the winners of each competition and highlights from the show. All of this is coming up, so let's jump straight into the recap. Gillette Stadium saw 12 of the best monster trucks battle it out. The hype for the first second quarter show began just days before the event, when it was revealed that not only would Velociraptor make its competition debut, but the reigning world racing champion, Brandon Vincent, would be filling in for an ill Ryan Anderson. Vincent has driven Son of a Digger numerous times, including an arena show last year. Moving on to the actual show, in round 1 of racing, Corey Rummel and Megalodon defeated Barry Musara and Zombie. Brandon Vincent and Son of a Digger defeated Chris Kohler and Axe. Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer defeated Mike Christensen and Vendetta. And Adam Anderson and Gravedigger defeated Mark List in El Toro Loco. 4 competitors had an automatic round 2 entry. Those were Brandon Budd and Wasted Knights, John Gordon in Bad Company, David Olfer in Velociraptor, and Bryce Kenny in the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Moving on to round 2, Brandon Budd defeated Corey Rummel, Brandon Vincent defeated John Gordon, Cynthia Gauthier defeated David Olfer, and Adam Anderson defeated Bryce Kenny. Brandon Budd was the only automatic round 2 entrant to make it into the semi-final round. In the semi-finals, both Brandons would duke it out. The reigning racing champion, Brandon Vincent, would defeat Brandon Budd to advance to the final round. On the other side of the bracket, Adam Anderson would defeat Lucas Stabilizer. However, neither Adam or Cynthia could start their trucks, so Brandon Budd would get a second opportunity. The final round race was settled. It would be a rematch between Brandon versus Brandon. It would be Brandon Vincent that would win the racing competition of Foxborough, remaining undefeated in racing since winning his championship. Onto the skills challenge, which was filled with excitement. Chris Kohler would try a unique move which saw him bicycle up the side of the berm. Mark List would perform a great first moonwalk but not really get it going the second time, but would take the lead. John Gordon would pull off a solid bicycle but was unable to get the moonwalk on his second hit. Mark List is still your leader. The new Velociraptor was next, and Olfer would try to get the wheelie to stop a moonwalk combo on his first try but would fail. However, upon trying again for his second hit, he would succeed. Still your leader, Mark List in El Toro Loco. 2 great hits would come from Bryce Kenny. The only downside was not being able to ride the moonwalk up the pod the first time, but his second hit more than made up for it. Unfortunately for Brandon Budd, he was only able to get 1 hit in before returning to the pits. He did, however, lay down an impressive moonwalk, but it was not enough to take the lead away from Mark List. Cynthia Gauthier would lay down a great slap wheelie and a huge sky wheelie, but once again, this was not enough to take the lead away from Mark List. Brandon Vincent would lay down an amazing moonwalk, but due to truck issues, his skills run would be cut short. The final driver left was Adam Anderson, who would perform a great bicycle and a great slap wheelie. But, as very apparent at this point, this was not enough to take the lead, meaning your skills challenge winner, Mark List in El Toro Loco. And on to the final competition of the night, freestyle. There would be some phenomenal runs and moments from this show. The spectacular debut run from Brandon Budd and Wasted Knights would see him in the spotlight for most of the night, along with the great 2022 season debut for Chris Kohler in Axe. Barry Musara and Zombie would take the lead away from Brandon Budd, as Musara would send the Zombie Monster Jam truck into orbit. The rest of his freestyle run was also pretty spectacular as well, including throwing a backflip in. David Olfer would lay down a pretty solid run, but was severely underscored. John Gordon would have a decent run before failing the mini flip and smashing the front end upon landing. Your leader is still Barry Musara and Zombie. Mark List would be having an incredible run up until landing weirdly and losing traction on the backflip ramp. Cynthia Gauthier would have an absolute classic of a run, filled with big air and fast-paced momentum. She would not take the lead away from Barry Musara in Zombie. Bryce Kinney in the Great Cosmo would lay down a great run and had a spectacular finish. It would have been awesome if he was able to save the truck. By this point in the show, it was starting to dribble a little bit, appropriately when the deep sea truck known as Megalodon would come out. Corey Rummel would be having a decent run, but hitting the ramp anything but straight caused his run to come to a crashing halt. Your leader is still Baru Musawa. Watching Brandon Vincent's run felt like I was watching a run from Ryan Anderson. It was the same energy, same momentum, and honestly, it was just really entertaining. Once again, the fans were quite harsh and the scores were pretty low for Vincent's great performance. There was only one truck left, being Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. Adam Anderson's run was absolutely phenomenal, despite it being very short. Like Vincent, he had amazing momentum, big air, and of course a wow factor. He would hit the pod sideways and flip over, but would have enough momentum to save it with a broken tire on the berm. Freaking awesome. Adam would finish third in freestyle in Foxborough, meaning your freestyle winner is Baru Musawa in Zombie. And to close out the show, Adam Anderson would get the overall event championship. That's it for the recap of the show, but now it's time to look at the biggest headlines. For starters, it was an unbelievable stadium debut for Brandon Budd in Wasted Nights. Bud has primarily been competing on the toughest Monster Truck Tour, but he did compete once in Monster Jam for Arena Series East. Defeating Corey Rummel and Megalodon is pretty big, but putting up a fight against Vincent and Son of a Digger was a pretty big surprise. He also finished second in freestyle, also pulling off the first backflip he's ever done. Bud's next show will be next weekend in Landover, Maryland, and you'll be sure he will throw down for the Maryland fans. Baru Musawa also picked up his 10th freestyle win of the season last weekend in Foxborough. Musawa has been a pretty formidable opponent in freestyle, and Musawa has definitely made a habit of going big this season. Musawa will also be in Landover next weekend, and it will be interesting to see if Musawa can take another freestyle win. But of course, we can't forget the standout performance from Brandon Vincent. The reigning racing champion went 4-0 this weekend in racing at Foxborough. He defeated Chris Kohler in Axe, John Gordon in Bad Company, and Brandon Budd in Wasted Nights twice when Adam couldn't start his truck. As of right now, he remained undefeated in the racing competition since his World Championship win at World Finals 21. Brandon's next show is currently unknown, as Ryan is slated to drive next weekend, and hopefully will be feeling better before the show. Whenever Vincent is slated to drive next, you'll be sure he'll want to defend his racing championship. And that's all we have for today. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with some more Monster Truck content.